British Columbia is known for its vast, gorgeous array of parks, faunted for its dramatic geography and rich biodiversity. And while they make great tourist attractions, when it comes to actually protecting that biodiversity they claim to, that same biodiversity that BC has committed to protecting by 2030, the park system falls short. Unfortunately, this is a fairly common theme with national, provincial, or state parks as a whole, because they tend to protect the most visually stunning areas while allowing the most biologically diverse, productive, and ecologically critical areas to be destroyed. See, BC has 16 different biogeoclimatic zones, which are areas of similar energy flows, vegetation, soils, and climate, ranging from rich forests along the coast to high alpine areas inland with rich valley bottoms and interior desert plateaus. When ranked by the level of biodiversity contained in each one of these zones, the top half contains 73% of all the species, but only account for 30% of the total biogeoclimatic zone protected by parks. In other words, the most species-rich areas in BC have the least amounts of protection, whereas the areas that are relatively sparse in species richness have the most protection. Coastal western hemlock, coastal Douglas fir, interior Douglas fir, bunchgrass, and interior cedar hemlock zones are the 5 most biologically rich we have in the province, yet as a percentage of the areas that they cover, they receive less than half the protection than interior mountain heather alpine areas, the least biologically rich zone in the province. This is an important distinction because as our government commits to protecting 30% of biodiversity by 2030, it's important that these areas are protected in quantities relative to their biodiversity. Yes, we need to protect the biodiversity of those gorgeous high alpine peaks, but what's more critical is that we protect those areas with the highest levels of biodiversity, such as our forest, grassland, and wetland areas, in order to maintain resilient ecosystems capable of adapting and mitigating the effects of climate change so that we all can survive and thrive together.